what's kind of the average client base that a typical franchise owner would have?
Well, that really varies because some
Yeah.
franchisees like to deal with just a few large clients. Now, there's a longer ramp up schedule for that because it's longer to do that sale and to do the analysis. But some
Okay.
people say, I want to just serve six big clients, and they take that
Yeah.
road.
Hmm.
Others say, I want to do just small clients.
Yeah.
So they might have a couple hundred,
Yeah.
So, but even our most successful franchisees, I think the most clients anybody's ever had is around 300. Not to say that that's a limit by any means, but nobody has to go out
Yeah.
and get 5,000 clients. But
Yeah.
most of them will do a mix, some small, some medium, and a few
Yeah.
big. And that's how they'll do it because that gives them the most stability, that gives them the churn, that gives them the ramp up because the small ones get to cash quicker. That's the best model.
No, and that's a really good transition where, a lot of other misconception with franchising is people don't understand all these different participation types, and given every franchise is different, but overall, there's tends to be four different models from the single, multi, area rep, master franchise. Then there's four different participation types with the owner operator, executive model, semi-absentee, and full absentee. And from what I understand, you guys also have like a developer of 10 locations. Can you speak to just the ability to scale the Schooley Mitchell franchise?
Yeah, we actually have three options here, and
Okay.
we really only operated on one for the first 24 years because both these other options that I'm about to mention really just came to play within the last year.
Oh, wow. We
So
got breaking news today, everyone.
it is breaking news. So we knew that there were people that wanted to maintain a job. Either they
Yeah.
needed the revenue to be able to start a business, or sometimes a spouse is a roadblock, or sometimes health, and
Yeah.
whatever the reason, they need to keep their job, but they
Right.
still wanted to start a business. And this is one where we implemented something we call the builder franchise, and it
Yeah.
allows for someone to do this on a part-time basis. Now, if they don't have 5 to 10 hours available to them per week during business hours, so if they need to have flexibility in their schedule to have at least that, they
Yeah.
shouldn't do it otherwise because they're not, this is a business to business service. You got to talk to
Yeah.
business people. So you have to have some time available. So we do have that part-time option.
That's
It's
awesome.
it's not a whole lot different than the others, just a little bit more methodical and slow build up. So we have that.
Right.
The one you mentioned is what we call the developer franchise. Now, it's not an area development, it's not a master franchise. It's really just allowing someone to operate in 10 locations simultaneously, or
Okay.
they can start with one and build up to 10. So they can
Right.
pick any 10 cities they want in the US or Canada, and they can build their business in each of those locations. So
Hmm.
even though I know I said earlier there's no territories, we
Yeah.
do have a couple restrictions in where they can hire people. So if I get one franchise in Detroit, I can hire as many people as I want in the Detroit area, but I can't hire in Denver. So if I want to
Okay.
build in multiple locations, I can do the developer franchise, and I can do it in as much as 10 cities at once.
That's impressive. Yeah, so it goes back to how scalable the model is, and it really is just that common sense. And as I talk to people, there's always really kind of three things that people talk about. One, kind of just going back to, when can I break even? They make this big investment. When do I get my money back? Is my investment safe? And then two, just people are concerned about labor, the employee staffing. And then three, just their ability to get customers, which you already touched on, their ability to get customers. But could you touch on just the ability to find employment, and how many employees do people typically have, and what are the employees actually doing for them?
Well, okay, so let's start there and then let's go to the ramp up question, which is related to ROI. So I would say about 75 or 80% of our people don't have any employees. So
Okay.
they operate on their own. See, we've got a leverage model built into our basic program because we do all the analysis here. Our
Right.
franchisees don't have to spend the time going through bills and tearing through contracts and doing reports. Excuse me. That's what we do. So a franchisee that's motivated to bring clients in, build relationships, consult to them about the results,
Yeah.
that's the person that can leverage this business to seven figures if they want without hiring anybody. Now,
Hmm.
we do have some people, like 20, 25%, that do. And usually that's on a subcontract basis where they're just going to share, so it's their little quasi business within their franchise.
Yeah.
So certainly some franchisees do that.
Yeah.
We train and support those subcontractors just like we do the franchisees. So it's quite easy for our franchisees to do that. They don't have to worry
Right.
about paying, nickel 98 employees are going to quit next week or change
Right.
jobs, or they don't
Yeah.
have to worry about any of that in our business. That's not us.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. It kind of goes back to, the sexy franchises with like McDonald's, Subway. you get labor that they might not be skilled labor, and it's hard to find talent. And even when you do find talent, to actually retain that talent is a whole nother struggle. So when it's actually 80% of business owners, you're your own employee, you control it. You're not necessarily selling something because you're helping someone save money. It really is just such a fascinating model. So,
Well,
this
I
is
always say in
super
those,
interesting.
there's a lot of models. I don't mean they're bad franchise systems. There's lots of great franchise systems, but a lot of people don't want to deal with those migrant and fickle employees that, they're not high paid, so they change jobs for another buck an hour or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Or, what happens when your baker calls in drunk at 4 in the morning? Well, guess who's baking
right.
donuts? You are. Is that what you really want to do?
Yeah,
So a person has to ask themselves, or wash
right.
windows. Your guy doesn't
Yeah,
show up. What are you going to do? Well, the client needs the windows washed. So
right.
is that what you want to do? And an executive person has to answer those questions before they decide what model they want. So
Right.
there's that we don't have to deal with that stuff at all.
No, that's a great point, and one of the biggest challenges I kind of come up with as I talk to people that are interested in that executive model. They might be in finance in corporate America. They're not looking to get their feet dirty. Paint walls and stuff like that. So yeah, you need to find that model that actually does make sense for what you're looking for. And I do want to clarify. I've brought up McDonald's and Subway as kind of these models, but those franchise owners are killing it.